All right, man. It's Aaron, No Bullshit Podcast, man. We got a special guest for you today. Thank you for tuning in. If you don't know, we're bringing the veterans through here to talk about what's really going on in the industry and access to this and how you get into this and what it takes and how to earn your stripes. I'm really excited about who we got on today, y'all. Really, I mean, off camera, on camera, dude is super cool, super genuine. He knows his shit. If you don't know by now, you should. But go ahead and introduce yourself, my man, and tell me what you got going on, if you wouldn't mind.
Man, I'm everybody know me as Junior on this social media world. They know me as C1 Specialized, better known as C1 Chosen One. All the above. I do the big shit, 13 axles, the win, almost anything you can think of, pretty much.
Nice. The
Yeah.
solar stuff, like what you got in the picture in the background there, man. And let's go ahead just so people can understand what you got going on. I'm gonna share my screen real quick, and that way they can see the kind of stuff that you're doing. That you ain't playing around, man. So here we go. This right here is, if you can see, is something that he's got going on. He pulls the big towers, the cells, the big stuff. Right, that's your truck there, right? The orange one.
Yeah, that's my truck. That's the new one, the,
Nice.
o- the
So that's
Orange
the new one.
Crush. Yeah, that's the
But
Orange Crush.
if you can see, man, that equipment right there is not cheap, easy access to it. And right, that not anybody can do that shit right there. That's what I can tell you right now. So
Yeah, the black truck
um,
down there, that was the Black Beast, man. Everybody missed that truck. I miss it too, to be honest with
yeah, I remember I was following you back when you had that thing, man, and you leveled up and got into this one. So, but man, that's awesome that you can get access to that equipment, and you've been in it a minute. So we're gonna get into that. We're
you.
going
Yeah.
to talk the big stuff. We're going to talk how you became the man, the myth, the legend, the whole 9 yards. So, um, can you share a little bit about your background, man? Like what you were doing before you got into trucking, and what led you? Like, I always ask people, how did the fucking light bulb go off and be like, I'm gonna do trucking, and then I'm gonna just do the biggest fucking trucking you can do, and that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. Man, look, when I was younger, my pops used to drive, and he worked for a company called Triangle Brick. No kind of heavy haul. I think it was more or less flatbed. They just load bricks on them, and that's about it. So he take me to work sometimes and let me, hold the steering wheel. I was probably like 4, 5 years old, and after all of that, from like age 9 to about maybe 23, I was just doing some of everything. I was kind of out there a little bit in my teens, but when I hit 21 or 19, I got my first job at IBM, and my my now wife mother had got me in there, and she pulled a whole lot of strings for me. I had 2 felonies pending, and I had a lot of shit going on, but I found out fast that I didn't really want to work for. I ain't gonna say work for nobody, but I didn't want to be in a enclosed area because I was like in a little cubicle. If you can imagine me in a cubicle for
Right.
like 10 hours a day, that shit drove me crazy. So I was kind of after 6 months they ended up firing me, which was inevitable because I didn't want to be there anyway. But I ended up doing little odd jobs here and there. By the time I hit 23, I was tired of what I was doing. So this lady I knew owned a salon. Her boyfriend had trucks, so he took me out, told me that he had like 4 trucks, showed me his cars, showed me his houses, and all this money he making, or whatever. And it still didn't click then. But by the end of 2023, man, I was I guess, just burnt out, really. You know, ain't much shit changing. People I grew up with still doing the same shit we was doing when we was 16, 17. So I was like, fuck it, man. I go try to do the CDL thing. So it took like a month. I think I went on the weekends or some shit. It took like a month to do it. And after that, man, it was on. Like,
Okay, so you said that year. I think you said you went and got your CDLs. What you're saying, basically?
yeah, the end of 2023, like December, I got my CDLs. Well, I did the schooling in January 1st or January 2020, 2011 is when I got my CDLs.
Yeah,
And I went to
2011. So yeah, you said
yeah.
23, but anyway, 2011. So that's a grip. So anybody that's been following you, it's been a minute that you've been in it. So what did you go to work for a company to do your CDL, or you just paid for it when did your own thing and then decided how did you do that?
Nah, shit, man. I think my mama fronted me the money. I just ended up paying her back or something like that.
Right. Okay.
And
So when you went to
my
work,
first
what was
no,
your
go
first
ahead.
thing you was doing? Dry van or flatbed, or what was your first thing you got into?
Now the first company I went to was Warner.
Okay.
And man, that shit was like 26 cents a mile loaded, 13 cents a mile empty. It was something stupid.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I'd probably be doing $500 to $700 a week. And but when I first started, they had me on Dollar General. So I was in Florida. We go from
Right.
Gainesville, Florida, into DC. You know what I'm saying? The
So
DC is
that's
down in
where when
Gainesville.
you pick up that shit and take it to the stores, you got to hand unload it, right? In the carts and take it inside
Yeah.
on a lift gate, right? People don't know that for the Dollar General shit. I know about that. Don't nobody want to do that shit. Not
Hey,
for
but
what
look
they're
though,
paying.
I loved it. I ain't like to pay too much, but I
Right.
loved it. You know what I'm saying? They kept me on that little lane for like 2 months. That's my training. We had to do like 275 hours, I think, behind the wheel before they let you go.
Right.
I was at Warner for like 6 months. And after like month number 4, boy, I was tired of it. I was just sick of that van shit. You know what I mean? I was at 5 different. I went from Dollar General to Curtainside to Home Depot, Lowe's, all different shit. And I tried to apply for what was it? TMC. TMC said, "Man, yeah, we'll take you for orientation." The night before I was gonna quit Warner, I looked through the email again, and they told me something about tattoos and long hair. It was like, nah, you can't have neither. Well, you can have tattoos, but they got to be covered up or something like that. But you
Right. But you
can't have
couldn't have the
long
long
hair.
hair. So you were like deal cutter. I ain't cutting my shit.
I was like, look, just let me get through orientation and get in the truck, and I'll cut the hair. It's like, nah, you gotta cut that shit before you get here. It's like, yeah, that ain't gonna happen. So I ended up staying for a little bit longer, and that's how I ended up at ATS.
Okay.
ATS didn't give a shit.
So ATS, that was the next, or you went straight from TMC, called ATS, and went out.
Yeah.
Did you
Went up
start
there.
now? Did you start on an open deck with them or dry van division or reefer?
I
I don't know if
started
they
on
do reefer. I
flatbed.
know they do dry van out of Florida though.
Yeah, I don't know if they do reefer either, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But no, I started on flatbed. They do a
Okay.
little securement class, I think 1 or 2 days, something like that. And yeah, it's been on ever since as far as this open deck shit.
Right.
But
So you went from so you kind of was like, okay, now, and then how long did you do the flatbed before you decided to get, or you wanted to pursue getting into the either RGN or heavy haul or connected trailers?
well, probably within another 6 months, I was just pulling like a regular RGN, 35,
With
45
ATS.
with ATS.
Yeah, so that's a plug for a lot of people. I know that that's a company you can get in with. They'll start you in like a dry van or a flatbed and allow
Yeah.
you to, after a while of proving yourself, get over into something else, right?
That's why I send a lot of people to.
Yeah,
To this day, I really don't like ATS, to be honest with you, but I
right,
know it's a good company to start if
right,
that's what you want to do. So I started on that, and then I just started seeing the bigger RGNs. And one day, dude wrote, I did a load with a set with like 4 of the guys, and one of the guys he was pulling like a 7 or 8 axle setup. He was pulling a 7 or 8 axle stretch step deck, like a real low pro step deck.
right.
And me and him, he was around my age. I was like 25 at the time. He was 30. The rest of them dudes were like 40 something,
Right.
50. And so me and
I
him
was
kind of
actually
clicked
talking. I
like,
was talking to Joe about that last night, and with Benny too, about how Benny's probably one of the youngest, and he was like, "Man, if not, I'm definitely the youngest and only black dude independent that's this young doing it." Because ain't nobody, and all the guys I've seen out doing the heavy haul stuff are old heads. Every one of them are older dudes,
Yeah.
and they're all like ready to get out of it. So it might be a perfect time for a lot of young dudes to get in it. But you just got, like you said, earn your stripes. But anyway, what was it? How did you progress from you saw the 7-axle step deck?
But yeah, I seen that. Me and dude was talking, and that's where Junior came from. Everybody started calling me Junior just
Okay,
because I was always the youngest one around.
right.
Well, the dude that was pulling that trailer, fast forward like maybe a year down the line, it was the end of 2013, the end of 2012. He called me up. He said, "Man, you want to pull a 13 axle?" I was like, "Hell yeah!" He said, "I don't know what I'm doing though." He said, "Man, don't worry about it. We'll load together, ride together, unload together, everything." I was like, "Cool." So I ended up quitting the end of 2012, and I met
So,
up with
so,
him in
so this guy was an independent, or he was working with a like a leased on and he or whatever or
oh
company
yeah,
driver and was looking team.
he was ATS as a company guy.
Okay,
Then he met a guy or he knew somebody over there. I forgot how they connected, but he met this dentist. There's a dentist over in Idaho. He is infatuated with heavy haul. He
okay,
had an 8-axle setup, and one of these brokers he was dealing with, and some other people talked him into getting another truck and two 13 axles.
okay,
This, and I don't think he even knew how to pull a 13 axle. But
okay.
he went out and spent all of this money, and
Right.
so one driver quit, and the other driver just got missing. So that's when the guy I knew left ATS and went over there. Finally, the guy that got missing popped up with the truck and the trailer and just left it at the dentist office. So that's when nobody called me. And can you still hear me?
Yeah. I can still hear you.
Okay,
So he called you and you just was like, bet I'll hop in the truck. I'll make it happen.
pretty much. And yeah, it was wild, man. Like it was he didn't really give a shit about nothing. I kind of
Yeah.
found that out quick.
That's wild to jump into a 13 axle and and not I mean, even though you was running, 7, 8, whatever, but to jump into a 13, just boom, there you go. That's wild. That's awesome though. I would have done it. I'd have took it.
But nah,
Not everybody is that brave though.
I wasn't even in the 7 or 8 yet. I was still in 5 axle.
Oh, okay.
I haven't even pulled a 18 speed. That was my thing too. I was like, man, I never pulled an 18 speed. So yeah, you got to show me all of this shit. He was
Right.
like, yeah, man, no problem, no problem. So as soon as I hopped in the car, in the truck, probably the day after that, he had me driving. He pulled out of the truck stop, got it on the ramp, and I took it down 81. Scared as hell.
Hell
But
yeah.
we was he was actually bootlegging a transformer out of New Jersey. I didn't know nothing about bootlegging at the time. And
Yeah.
we were grossing around about 298,000, 300,000,
Mm-hmm.
and
Damn.
on a 13.
Yeah.
And
That's way over, right? I mean, I ain't no
way,
expert, but yeah,
way
that's
over.
way over
That's about
what you
40
can.
over. Yeah,
Yeah.
legally.
Right.
And he kept telling the front car, hey man, go down there and make sure the scale's closed. And we pulling over on like right before the scale, we pull over on the ramp. So I'm
Right.
like, look, is this how this works? We need to pull over every time and send the car in the front. He was like, no, we're just a little heavy. And then, again, I didn't think nothing of it. Hell, I didn't know what the shit meant, to be honest with you. I was
Right.
like, all right, fuck it. We heavy.
Right.
But yeah, man, just it went from there. Uh, kind of found out dude was like this compulsive liar, and he had a whole lot of shit with him. This is the driver. And once we made it to Idaho, I got in my own truck, and my first load came out of Tehachapi, California. and it went to Garden City, Kansas. And
Okay.
as far as this riding together, loading, unloading together bullshit, I loaded it to Tehachapi while he was unloading in Baltimore, Maryland. So we could
Damn.
literally couldn't be further apart.
Right.
And yeah, it was rough, man. Like I went down there, I couldn't put the trailer together. It was matter of fact, it was one of these right here. It was a nacelle, and so luckily the guys down there knew how to use them trailers. They put the trailer together, loaded me and everything. And shit, man, it's been it's been I've been trying to get it like that since then, ever since.
So you just got in and demanded your stripes and just was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna wing it. I'm gonna figure it out." I love that shit,
Man,
man. I love it. Not because
hey,
I mean everybody else got these other, oh man, I work for ATS and the heavy haul for 10 fucking years, 9 years, Landstar, this, that, or whoever else, and you just was like, man, I went to work for this dentist that had some trucks, didn't know shit about it. I got in there and got the job done. That's legit.
pretty much, man. It was just go and
So
get it.
leading up, how did so you went from that into you decided to get your own truck, right?
Yeah, I got my own truck about 6 years later
Okay.
because that dentist actually went out of business probably a year later actually. Like everything got repoed and it was a bad deal for him, real bad. But between that time until the time I got my truck, I was just in and out of companies, small companies
Right.
at that. That's why I try to wing people away from very, very small companies, one, two, three trucks, especially people just getting into business. It's like they're gonna put you through a lot of shit you're not really ready for. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? But
Because most people ain't because you've been there, done that, and they're not as resourceful as you, or maybe lucky as you could say in some situations, and they might
yeah,
get put into a situation that could be, I mean, as bad as just paying fines and problems or shit on their license, but it could be life threatening if you really, I mean. Now, granted, you got in there and got the job done. I would get in there and get a job done. There's other people that would, but not every. Like I have the same conversation with people all the time. Not everybody is that resourceful, right?
nah, man. I There's been times like I caught the brakes on fire in Wyoming, coming down a mountain in Wyoming. I went across Monarch Pass in Colorado. That was crazy.
Yeah,
Uh, it's been times where shit got real quick.
yeah. Yeah,
Needless to say,
I took that 55 ton because we were too tall, couldn't go over um Vale, so we had to go over Loveland Pass. I don't know if you know where that's at, but right
I
before the
heard
tunnel,
of
you
it.
got yeah. So if you going over Vale right before the tunnel, if you're too tall, you got to get up and go over through these little ski resorts, and there's no guardrails, and it was
Yeah,
snowing and shit. And my team guy with me at the time was like, "What are we gonna do if this motherfucker start going backwards?" I said, "Well, I'm gonna yell jump, and then you're gonna have to do what you're gonna do." Because there ain't no stopping it. You know what I mean?
nah, man, ain't no stopping that shit.
Nah, it's going, and it was straight down. That was the sketchiest thing I've ever done is go over Loveland Pass. And I got a video on it. I filmed the whole fucking thing. But
Yeah, I definitely gotta check that out, man.
yeah, it's wild, man. Wow, I'll send it to you. It's wild though. But anyway, so it kind of one thing led to the next, and you decided, hey, I'm gonna go buy my own shit.
Yeah, I went to the hell I found that truck at, man. I can't remember where I found it, but I ended up getting a truck out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. That's what it was.
4-1.
And
Okay. So
it
was
was an
that
old Valley
experience?
truck.
Was that a tough experience? Because that was a 4-axle truck, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so what was that like? Did you have to, get your credit right in that struggle, or did you just pay cash and saved up money? Did you put the deposit down? You borrow some money off friend, relative? Like, how tough was that? Because I know them shits ain't cheap. I priced them and in there,
Well, back in the day, man, what was this, 2016 or something? I found it for like 76,000.
that ain't
And
bad,
I called, man, I don't know how many places I called. And I finally found one place that would fuck with me. And
right?
what I couldn't understand, I had just bought a Yukon Denali that cost more than the truck.
Right.
And I'm like, y'all let me buy this Yukon, but I can't buy this his truck I'm actually work and make money with.
Right.
But yeah, I found a company called I can't think of the name. They up out of Indianapolis though. Quality. That's it. Quality Leasing. And they took a chance on me. Shit, man. Went up there and got it. And I went to work for a company called Medallion. And guy was like, "Yeah, we got our own freight, this, that, and the third." I probably hauled 2 loads that was their freight. The rest of it was all truck paper shit. So
Yeah.
me and them looking at the same loads, and they'll
On a
call
load board.
me on a load board. They'll call me like, "Yeah, I got this load for you. You want to do it?" And I'm like, "No, I'm sitting here looking at the same shit."
Right.
I'm like, "What are loads that we talked about before I got here?"
Right.
"Oh, they gotta build them. They gotta do this. Other trucks ahead of you." I think I was there for like 6 months, maybe something like that. But yeah, that shit was a joke, man.
So you
And
got your own truck. So you got up out of there with the smaller companies. You decided to lease on to a bigger company, right? Eventually, at that point, like a Landstar or something or ATS.
well, I ended up going to a guy named Tommy Turner. Tommy Turner, man, he been driving probably like 50 years, and he's the one that got me into the wind shit.
I feel
And
like I've heard that name before on Facebook in the groups or something somewhere. Maybe. But anyway, so he got you oh, it's probably a call. He got you into the wind stuff, you said.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, he got me into the wind, and the first company we hauled for. I told you back then when business was booming, companies would have overflow of work, and he was one of the guys that would get some of that overflow. So I ended up leasing on with him, and that was my introduction into the wind. And what you can't beat with the wind is the consistency.
Right.
It's just back to back, back to back. And
Yeah, because the projects is bigger and longer versus moving excavators or moving, port stuff or whatever. It's very project based where it's like one and done or a couple moves and you done, and that project's dried up over a month or a couple weeks or 2 months versus the wind stuff is drawn out over years and then they move a different job site, right?
Yeah. So man, we might go to 2 or 3 different jobs within 6 months.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But the lows I was doing, man, they paid like 6,200 on 120 miles, and I probably do 3 or 4 weeks just back and forth. And on the 9th load, it was a 3-2 setup, right? 3-axle trailer with a 2-axle stinger. On that 9th load, I come out of the plant, and that stinger right here where it pins together just snapped off.
Okay.
And, after that, man, the lady I was working with at Landstar, she ended up liking me a lot. So I didn't know it at the time, but the following year, right after that, I would be at Landstar. I almost lost the truck before I went to Landstar, actually, because she got crazy. Had to go to another company, and it was just stupid slow. But I had another guy at Landstar talk me into keeping my truck and just leasing it on with Landstar and just living off of my advances until I got on my feet, pretty much.
Okay. Yeah, Landstar. I've heard Landstar saved a lot of people that way in similar situations, even in the dry van space where with owner operator, because they really understand the owner operator game. It ain't gonna make you rich over there, but they really understand how to make and get people in the mindset of being successful. From what I understand, I don't know what your 2 cents on it, but
yeah, it's guys over there, man, with a fleet of trucks, 100
yeah. A lot of people don't know that they got sub fleets in there. In fact, they got one of the biggest hotshot fleets in the game. Landstar does, I think. I think they got between a few different guys, they got like 500 hotshot trucks, which is a lot of fucking hotshot trucks.
Yeah.
And there ain't nobody nowhere has got a hotshot fleet that big. There's a few companies out in Texas doing oil field stuff that are close to that, but they're not as big as that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you got the trailer broke.
Yeah, after the trailer broke, I ended up going to another company, and That's what I'm saying. Like
But it wasn't your trailer, right? It was the old boy's trailer, right? The other that you was working for.
he was trying to make a 40-ton trailer, a 60-ton trailer,
Right.
and it didn't work out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah, it does. But after that, I end up leasing on to some little company, man, trying to find shit on the load board. It was a guy I was going to actually go work for at Landstar. He's the one that taught me into keeping my truck. Shout out to him, Frank, a guy named Frank Palichek.
Okay.
Up in Jersey. He's got like probably 9-10 trucks now. He got all kinds of crazy equipment. He probably not the biggest, but one of the biggest guys over there at Landstar.
As far as the heavy space or what?
Yeah, the heavy haul. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, he taught me into keeping the truck, live off the advances. Because advances will hurt you or, it'll save you, it'll kill you. Because some people, man, I know a guy got an advance on the load that's like 25 grand. Just the advance for 25 grand.
Right.
Took the whole 25 grand for the advance and the load canceled.
Damn.
And they didn't cancel the first time, they pushed it back.
Right.
So now he left, he doing other shit, come back, they pushed it back again, and then they end up canceling it. Well, now they for that 25 grand for whatever reason he wouldn't have spent it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful with these advances, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's crazy.
They give you enough rope sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Right, to just put yourself out.
Yeah.
So how long was you with Landstar? So you finally leased on with Landstar, right?
Yeah.
To a sub fleet in Landstar or to Landstar themselves?
No, to Landstar themselves.
Okay, so they had a trailer for you, or you went and got your own trailer?
Nah, they had a trailer.
Okay.
The agent I was dealing with had a trailer. So the agent, they go out and buy all these wind trailers. They give them to people that ain't got one pretty much.
Okay. So that's that's when you started getting into the wind. Well, you said that the other dude, the Tommy dude or whatever, he's the one that kind of got you into the concept of the wind and doing that shit. And then from there, you just called up Landstar and was like, hey, I've already got experience doing it. I just need a trailer and the work.
Well, yeah, the lady that I was pulling for was at Landstar.
Oh, okay. So you was dealing with her when you was at the other company.
Yeah, and she ended up liking me. So she had to pull a few strings for me. I'm thinking she did. Because I got leased on with Landstar within a week.
So and that's crazy too, because I think their orientation is like 3 weeks, ain't it? So
nah. This orientation like 2 days, 2.5 days.
Really? I don't know why everybody was. I've never leased on with them, but I've always heard it was like 3 weeks long to take your truck out there, get it inspected, or maybe that's the time frame from the time you call them to the time you go to work.
Yeah, it's like 3 weeks to 6 weeks.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
What hold up a lot of people is a background check.
Right.
Not background, your references, your jobs. You know what I mean?
Right. They have to verify all that real thoroughly. So that was kind of helping you out because she was running that other fleet and she was like, hey, if you're getting out of it over there with him, I still need you. I'm gonna put you on over here.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's how that happened, because that's important to understand, is that you probably ain't just gonna go raise your hand and sign on the Landstar and start doing wind shit. It just ain't gonna go like that.
It'll never. I ain't gonna say it'll never. You really gotta know somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
For that to happen, it ain't gonna work. You ain't just gonna call them and be like, hey, I got a truck, I want to do some wind shit. It don't work like that.
Nah.
You got it. Yeah, you got to have some connections on the back end to facilitate that, right?
Yeah, man.
So right place, right time, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the significant challenge, man? We talked about, I mean, you had a lot. That's a lot of steps to, if anybody wasn't listening, they can see, to get to where you kind of at now with the truck and you moved over to another company or whatever. You're not still with Landstar, right? You with somebody else?
Yeah, I left Landstar a couple months ago.
Okay. So, but anyway, you got a new truck now and kind of moving, doing your own thing and this and that. But what's some significant challenges? Like you talk about, things going bad with the truck, but what's one that you really stands out memorable that you're like, fuck, this might be it. This might be the end of it right here. What's one that stands out that you overcame?
For real, probably when that trailer broke on me.
Okay.
That was probably it. That was a motherfucker, man. Cause we making good money, you know, for a couple weeks, and then it's like, damn, it's going that quick. They sent me
Right.
to another job actually, but remember I told you it's different manufacturers. That was a GE job. They sent me to a Vestas job, and that shit, the money was like cut in half. I don't know how that shit all works, but it does. Those companies do not pay the same, not even
Right.
close. So yeah, after that, I end up leaving and had to do some other shit. But yeah, overcoming that, man, and getting over Landstar was like the
So there
big.
was like a moment there where you were like, shit, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. And this, it was good for a minute, and now it seemed like it over basically. And you was owner operator at that point. So you was, trying to figure out independently what the next move was.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are some key lessons that you learned throughout your, professional career now? If you could tell, 2 or 3 to everybody listening, like, hey, this shit, you can't skip these 3 steps, or this is super fucking important, or pay attention to these 3.
I would say number one, patience. Like you gotta have patience with everything you do.
Yeah.
Patience, discipline. I got a lot of my pilot cars, not the ones I have now. Like if you watch my videos, you'll see 2 guys with me all the time. They in the white vans. Not
Okay.
them, but they pretty much decided to stay with me dedicated. Um, pilot cars like to party. They like to
Yeah.
do bars. They like to do a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? You
Right.
got to discipline yourself to, hey, can't do it tonight. I gotta study these permits. I gotta study these routes. I gotta make sure shit is in order. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Patience, discipline. Uh, mm, I don't know that. I don't know. I gotta think on that third one.
So patience, discipline, being, regimented in what you're doing. You can't be getting distracted off this stuff and get off topic, because tomorrow might be something pop up that you want to be ready for, more or less is what you're saying. And,
Stay,
and
stay ready.
not be lacking.
Yeah, stay ready so you don't get ready, or stay
Okay.
ready so you don't have to get ready.
Yeah. I say that shit all the time too. Stay ready. They say, you ready? I'll be like, man, I stay ready, so I ain't got to get that way.
Exactly. It's in my intro.
Yeah.
On my
So how does C1 approach decision making? I always try to get it, like, if I could get in your head right there and be like, wait, this is how I think, this is how I approach decisions. How do you approach decision making? What does that look like when a decision's got to be made? I'm gonna get this truck. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna stop doing this. I'm gonna go this way when everybody going this way, or I'm gonna, whatever. How do you approach decision making?
Well, I always see how to impact my company. That's one of the first things, and then how it impacts my family. A lot of these decisions we make, you know, you dedicate yourself to a project, and that project might end up being 6 months long. It's gonna be great for the business, but you got to make sure that you spending time with your family as well, and you got to figure out how to balance those two. You know what I mean? And so I would say I would watch how it impacts my company, my family, and if it makes sense.
Yeah.
Gotta make sense.
Right. They have a saying, if it don't make sense, or if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. And if it don't make sense, it's just stupid. So I agree with you 100%, as well said. So just when you're making decisions, you sit and think, man, what's this going to look like for my business? And then what's the outcome for me and my family, secondary. And then third, it's got to make sense and make money.
Got to.
Okay.
So
All right.
shit's expensive out here, man.
Right. So, what about misconceptions? Everybody's, got something to say. Everybody's online. Everybody thinks the industry's in the shitter. You seem to be doing well. Okay, we're doing okay. Fleet wise, everybody I talk to, we ain't getting rich by no means, and it ain't no crazy increase, and we really ain't killing it, right? The game, but and putting more money in our pocket than we did, maybe years prior, whatever. But we're doing okay. We're surviving, and we ain't, crying and going out of business tomorrow right now, right? So what are the misconceptions you see, or one misconception you see right now? People looking in, and there's a lot of them, like it's not a good time to get into trucking. There's can't handle no more people. Don't get your CDL. Everybody's going broke. Everybody's going bankrupt. All these things. What do you say about that? What's a misconception that you see right now?
I don't think people shouldn't get into trucking. I just don't think it's the right time to go out and spend a lot of money on equipment. And I'm not telling people not to ever do it. I just don't think right now is the time. I noticed since I've been driving, election years, year before election year, it's always crazy.
And the economy, I agree with that too. And the economy and anything, it's always up and down at that time. Money, people seem to get tight because they're like unsure whether whatever side politically you fall on, they feel like they're unsure about the future.
Yeah, so they don't know where to put their money. So they're sitting, waiting, holding, and just trying to see what's going to happen before they make a play.
So they get in that scarcity mentality when there's really abundance of and everything to do, but they get in that retracted state, scarcity. We don't know what's going to happen. State of mind. I hate that shit. And a lot of people do that. And you ain't lying about that. That's true. So right around that time, that's a misconception. But also, don't go out and buy some equipment, but that don't mean don't get in the industry, right? You're just saying don't go buy a bunch of equipment right now. There's other ways to get in, right?
Yeah, man. You got, company guys. I don't know why people don't want to become a company. My main thing, what I tell a lot of people, learn on their dime.
100%.
100%. I had a guy call me up one time. He said, "Man, I got my CDLs last week. I got 100,000 in the bank. What kind of truck I need to get?" I said, "Man, you don't need to get shit. You need to get your ass on a computer and fill out an application."
100%. Hey, that's gonna be at the front. That's the clickbait right there, man. Because you ain't lying about that. That's gonna be. I tell everybody the same shit, man. You don't need to buy no equipment. You don't even know if you like this shit. You might do it a week and find out you hate it. You know what I mean?
You get in this shit, man, and you figure out, you picked the wrong truck, you picked the wrong trailer. You don't like driving longer than 4 hours now. You know what I'm saying? You just don't know. It's too much shit up in the air.
Yep. Go learn on their dime, man. That's it right there, man. Go learn on their dime, but not on your dime.
Yeah, because to me, it don't really make sense. This industry is one of the few industries where it's like you go to college and they pay you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You ain't gotta go spend 100,000 for 4 years of college. You can go make 100,000 in 2 years, and you done learned everything you need to know. Now you can go get what you're trying to get. You know what I'm saying? I met a dude. He drove for, I don't remember how long it was. He saved up 200 grand. RBZ, I think that's the name of it. RBZ Transport, and he went and started his own company with that 200 grand. It's been ups and downs, but he doing his thing now. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good foot to start off on. That's a lot. That's more than I fucking had. So, and you know what I mean? That's a lot. That's a lot of bread. And you think if you was smart enough to save that up and be disciplined and diligent with it, you smart enough to figure out some of the ups and downs in the trucking industry or any industry, really. So, all right, let's get into you personally, man. What I don't know if you're a book guy or a podcast guy or listening to talk radio or just people or celebrities or music or what, but can you recommend any books, resources, influential figures? It can be anybody, dads, celebrity, whoever, or somebody that made or makes a profound impact on your thinking and state of mind, and someone you look to for inspiration, motivation, like just one or two people, whatever.
I got a guy named Moses. He's I guess you could say like a father figure down there. You know what I'm saying? He helps me with a lot of different shit. You know what I mean? He's like the voice of reason. Cause I won't never really a high head, right? But I get to that point sometimes, and I can talk to him, and he'll give me another side. Like, hey, you know, we think like this sometimes, but you know, when we sit back and we realize, man, we got kids, we got a family, we got a house, like we got big responsibilities. We got to use another part of our brain now. We older,
Right.
man. So he a big inspiration, man. Real big. He actually he works. I met him at Landstar.
Okay.
I posted him a couple times on my page. He real low key though. He don't do
The
none of
social media stuff. Yeah, I know a lot of people like that you can sit and talk to, have a conversation all day, but they ain't trying to be on the internet.
Hell nah, hell nah. As far as books though, it's a dude named Ed Millet or something like
Ed
that.
Milet. Yeah.
Yeah, I read one
Yeah,
of
I
his
love Ed Milet. Ed Milet.
Max Out or something like that.
Yeah.
And that was a good book, man.
Yeah, that book ain't even that old, so you must have did that one recently. I haven't read that book, but I need to. I'm gonna write that down too. Maxed Out, because I need to go check that out.
Max Out. One of the things he said that is motivation for me every day I wake up is when you die, or he said when I die, and you know, make it to heaven, and God shows you the person that you could have been.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
That is a thought right there, man. That is a thought. When you make it there, because I'm on some shit right now too with this 75 hard. I done lost like 60 pounds. I don't talk about a lot of my shit like that personally, but I'm on this whole, motivation, changing my mindset. I'm trying to read 50 books this year. Go to every fucking conference, everything I can do to better myself. And I follow this dude, Wes Watson, big ass convict dude, bald head dude on YouTube and stuff. And he's just talking about your duty, your job for yourself is to build the best you can build and then deliver that to the world and have the best energy possible and be the best you that you can become physically, mentally, spiritually, the whole nine. Your aura, your energy's got to be up here. You can't be at low level frequencies because that's demonic shit. You got to be up here where you don't even like see that shit,
Right.
And he kind of says something like that. But I'd never thought about that. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna read that book. That sounds like
It's a
super.
dope book.
Yeah.
It was, it's like you something happened to you, you get up there and you see all of this stuff like on the wall or whatever, and then you see this person you don't even recognize, and these are all his achievements, and it's like, damn, it looked like me, but I ain't did none of that shit over there.
Right.
And then God is like, hey, I gave you all the resources you need.
It's what you could have did.
It's what you could have did. You never did it.
Damn, man.
He was playing PlayStation.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. I that makes me want to read that book now. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a good ass book though, for real.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go check that out. So Ed Milet, Max Out, you guys. That's some good shit right there. What's the most significant time that you were like, damn, we here, we made it? Like, what's one big win that you can take with you to the bank that you like you in your whole career where you really like, it could be something small, getting the truck, flying out, whatever, trailer, first big load, whatever. Like when you were like, damn, we this is gonna work. What was that moment for you?
I had a few, right? But the one that popped into my head is when I bought the black Kenworth. When I tell you, man, I dreamed about shit like that at ATS. I'd be watching all these other guys with these new trucks and all that shit. Man, I looked at that black truck for 3 months. And I was like, man, ain't no fucking way. They ain't gonna give me the money for it. Truck is too long. Truck is like 43 feet long. And it was just a lot of negative shit running through my mind. So just one day, I was on the way home. I just decided to stop by there and dude let me test drive the truck. And shit, once I test drove, I said, man, yeah, this is it. I'm gonna go and get this one. It was everything I could possibly think of. It was tri-drive, it had wide track axles, it was a studio sleeper, had the couch in the back, 600 Cummins. You know what I mean? Just everything somebody could dream of.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But once I got into that and did my first load, that's probably one of the strongest strongest ones that gave me that feeling.
Hell yeah, that's awesome, man. How does C1 stay motivated out on the road? How do you stay positive? You know what I mean? It's because this shit. We was just talking about this off camera too. You're talking about, man, somebody could do this load or like ATS and they get halfway through it and they have a fucking nerve. You say it takes so long, right? Have a fucking nervous breakdown and just be like, I'm out. Come get the truck. See you later on some of that big stuff. But and how nerve wracking it can be and how calm and meticulous and whatnot you got to be to do this kind of type of shit in general. But how do you stay motivated and out on the road?
I think you got to go through some shit, man, to stay like that calm, and because I've been through a lot of shit out there, and just in my regular life too. So, also talking to other people that do the same thing I do. I know when I used to leave the house, like leaving my kids is the hardest thing. My family is the hardest thing to do. One thing that would help me is to talk to somebody else going through the same shit as me.
Yeah. I tell people that all the time. I'm like, you don't understand until you driving away and crying for 30 minutes because you ain't gonna see him for 5 weeks on the way out. And you have to keep going because you got truck notes and you got shit. They don't talk about that shit. You got to go. And the kids is like, don't go. I don't want you to go no more, you know? And they little babies too. My kids was. Yeah. And they don't talk about that shit. Nobody does.
My daughter never really, my oldest, she cried one time. That shit fucked me up. I think I ended up staying like another 2 days. My youngest, she cried. I ended up staying another day. But that shit, man, it fucked me up.
You know it does, man. People don't talk about that. There's been times I left the house, man, 30 minutes, just like, fuck this job. I hate this shit. You know what I mean? But eventually we have to get hardened and we got to go back into warrior mode on the road. And then you kind of get used to it, you know? Yeah. And you just push yourself through it because you have to, but nobody talks about that.
One thing that helped me, like I said, I used to get in a little trouble back in the day. Never did no crazy time, nothing like that. But I've always thought, like, if I stayed home, it was inevitable.
Yep.
Like, I'm going to jail. I know it. So I feel like if I can go through 6 months, a year away from my family and just waste all of my time, why can't I do that and go actually build something for all of us?
Provide for them.
You know, that's how that helps me get through it too.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man. How do you manage your work-life balance right now? Now that you kind of in the upper echelon of your career, you're doing some big shit, some big things, and I know them projects are demanding, you know, and scheduling wise and taking up a lot of your time and shit like that. But how does C1 manage his work-life balance?
Airplanes. Any kind of gap. That the guy was telling me about Moses. Every time I talk to him, yeah, bro, I just got off the bird. I'm at the house about 3 days. I'll be flying out back on Monday. You know what I'm saying? You got to utilize the time wisely. Because every now and again, we get a break. 4th of July, Thanksgiving. I don't know, might have rained or something. They can't unload us for 3 days.
Right.
We going to the house.
Right.
But you gotta know how to balance that shit though. Cause a lot of you not, man. A big majority of the people I work with, they're in their 60s, 50s, and they're on their second or third wife.
Yeah.
Or either getting divorced.
Yep. This industry does have the highest divorce rate. So that is definitely something you got to think about. You getting into this shit. Everybody want to get into it. People don't Google that shit. I don't know why that is, man. I Google like the pros and cons before I ever got into this shit. And I constantly tell people to do that. And they're so excited to get a truck, get a trailer, blah, blah, blah. But they don't do the sales process. They don't think about the highest divorce rate. They don't think about it's the most dangerous job in the United States classified by insurance. They don't think about none of that shit, man. And so that's good you say that. You brought up a lot of good, you know, points in the last 3 to 5 things there, man. Is like, you know, the family thing and then, you know, divorce rate and managing that, but flying out. But again, you know, you made it to a good level now where you can afford to fly out. Not everybody can do that. I mean, I did too. I fly home for Christmas, or it's better than driving 1,500 miles home, you know?
You ain't lying. That's all I used to do. I
Yep.
drive just back.
I used to do the same thing. If we was empty, fuck it, our dad at home, 20 from Cali all the way to South Florida, whatever. But after a while, you just like, man, fuck, it's gonna. I just get a ticket and I just leave this, park it at the storage lot, fly out, fly back in a week or 2 weeks, whatever. Truck's still gonna be here, and I can just get a load out, go back to work.
Look,
You know?
the dude I was telling you about, right? Moses. He fly all the time. Last year before last. We don't do that many miles a year. I
Right.
probably did 50,000 miles last year. I
Right.
think he might have did 30. And those extra 20 was just me going home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're looking at 1,300 miles every time I go home. One way. So what is that? 2,600 miles back and forth. Because I go to Texas, I park my trailer in Texas, and I bobtail back to the house.
Right.
That's 2,600 every time I go home.
Okay. So what you live? Where you live at? What we start on the East Coast, West Coast, South, North?
Yeah, I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Oh, okay, so you ain't too far from me then. I'm in Fort Myers, Florida, down in South Florida, off 75. But anyway, so yeah, so you fly. So if you're doing something way over, Texas area, or going like a lot of the wind stuff goes out that way anyway. Texas and Oklahoma and Nebraska, Wyoming, all that bullshit out there. And New Mexico and up in the county and stuff. So a lot of that wind stuff is out in the Midwest, West Coast. So you just say leave your shit over there and just fly to the house.
That's your best bet, man.
That's the best bet, especially with the equipment you got now. That's some big ass equipment. It ain't like driving a little Freightliner Cascadia home. You know what I mean?
Man, look, it's roughly, it'll be anywhere from 2,500 to $5,000 to go home.
Yeah, every time. So you can grab it if you get it in the right time frame. You can get a ticket as cheap as $200-300, and just go to the house one way and then get another one when you're ready to leave out. That's smart. That's what everybody does that knows what the hell they're doing. So you just go to the house, do what you got to do to manage it. You're doing the big stuff, but you also make it work with the home time and fly out. And some people don't like flying, so that's something to think about too. If they're looking at getting in here, some people they won't fucking fly, and it makes it miserable.
It was a struggle for me to fly. For me, it's more of a control thing.
Yeah,
I ain't in there with talking to the pilots and all that shit. I'm used to driving the truck, being in control of everything. Now I'm in the seat in the back somewhere, and I don't know what the hell going on.
You know what's crazy? That's funny about that is I drove for about 6 years straight, and I'm talking every day, man, rolling thousands of miles. Even back when I was doing shit cowboy and running from Cali to Jersey straight, no sleeping and shit. When I came off the road, man, I would get sick, like car sick, if I didn't drive. Like when I stopped driving, I started working in the office full time for like the first 6 months. I would get real bad, like sick, man, if my wife would drive me anywhere. And I didn't want to drive. I'm like, I used to drive every fucking day. I won't drive nowhere. So now I would ride in the passenger seat and I would get sick. It was wild, man, for like 6 months until they finally quit.
I just bought some Dramamine.
Yeah.
Same thing happens to me.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's weird.
It's like a motion.
It's like a peripheral visual thing. I always tell and when I came off the road too, it was funny because I always got to be going somewhere, right? So I gotta go to the store. I gotta do this. I gotta go. You know what I mean? And everybody always be like, "What? You ain't got nowhere to fucking go. Sit down, relax. Like what the fuck?" I'd be like, "No, you understand? I gotta go. I'll be back." And it's just because you're in that going all the time mode, And so I mean, in your thing and in the heavy haul space, you're doing a lot of sitting, but if you just running conventional, even if you're just doing, oversized or lighter stuff, you just going all the time. So it messed me up. It was weird shit.
When I started at Landstar, there was a guy, another guy I kind of look up to. He told me, man, he was like, look, he was going through a divorce, actually. He was like, look, man, you're gonna make a lot of money. Over, as long as you're doing what you're about to be doing, you're gonna make a lot of money. He said, look, don't let that fuck your family up. He said, you go home and you see them babies. You know what I'm saying? He told me he had I think one of his kids didn't really talk to him too much because he was always on the road. I got a friend of mine, man, he my age. He just got a divorce. Or he's going through a divorce right now. His pops would be gone all year when he was younger. When I say all year, I'm talking 365 days.
All right, going all the time.
Just running. You know what I'm saying? Some people can't separate that, make that time balance. So that's been a real big thing I've been purposely trying to do, balance it out. And I tell companies before I go, like where I just came to, I said, look, I go home. One holiday I don't miss is Christmas.
Right.
So Christmas to New Year's to about my birthday, you probably won't see me. I'm gonna just let you know that now.
Right. I'm gonna be off.
I'm gonna be gone.
Don't call me.
Don't call me.
Right.
You ain't gonna get me. But yeah, you gotta know how to balance that, man. You're gonna have a lot of different wives. That's for damn sure.
So so you got the YouTube, man. What made you want to start that? What was the inspiration for that? What was you like, man, I gotta put some content out. You've been at it for a minute. I think I looked it up. It was like what, 2017, 2018, something like that. You've been on there at Grip. I know I've been following you probably that long, but just not like every video. You know what I mean? I think you popped across something is that long ago, and I was like, damn, man, this dude's doing some shit. But what made you want to do that?
Nothing, to be honest with you. It was a dude named Trucking with Tay.
Oh yeah. I know. Yeah.
He hit me up one night, man, like out of the blue. I don't think I even knew who he was. And he was like, man, be honest. If you watch the videos, you know how animated he is. So
right.
Yeah, be honest, man. How much them big loads pay? And, we just got to talking. He said, man, you need to do YouTube. I was like, yeah, I got YouTube videos up there. Man, they like a minute, 2 minute, me making a turn or some shit like that. He was like, nah, man, you need to do it for real. And it took him a couple months, but I actually went out, bought GoPros and shit, and started doing it for real. That's when I did that first one I was telling you about. I took that press from Savannah, Georgia up to Rivian, that Rivian plant in Bloomington, Illinois.
Right.
And I kind of feed off of the energy I get from the people that watch it. You know what I'm saying? The more they tell me they like it, the more it inspires me to want to do it more.
Right.
But something that had happened, you ever heard of Heavy Heart Nation?
Yeah, I think they have a channel too. I don't know them, or I can't really reference them, but I know of the channel. Like I've seen that name before.
The guy that worked there. The guy that runs that channel, he used to work for Landstar.
And
this dude was hauling wind, same GE stuff I do, just a smaller piece on a 7-axle. And he went through Louisiana with no escort. He thought it was a good idea to videotape himself getting a ticket. And when that happened, somebody at Landstar or somebody with GE seen that and sent that in and said he gotta take it down or he's gotta leave Landstar. So whatever reason, he just thought it would be better to leave Landstar. And ever since then, they've been on my ass about posting videos. So for a long time, I kind of stopped. I post some every now and again. But this year, I did like a couple of videos and they told me, they was like, look, we don't need you doing no more videos because of that.
Huh.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That kind of slowed it up. Yeah, that messed it up a lot. But
so that makes a lot of sense why there ain't a lot of guys. I mean, number one, you got to have the inspiration to want to make a YouTube channel, but they shut it down. That's why a lot of guys ain't talking about it.
Yeah.
So that too, I didn't really think about that element to it. But
it's a lot of like the stuff Benny did.
Yeah.
Yeah, they fired it instantly.
Yeah.
That's one of the, it's one of the good things about having your own company. You can do whatever the hell you want to do.
Right.
But big companies, it's just a big liability. Landstar got over 10,000 drivers, so they got shit going on all the time.
Right. They can't afford to have. They don't want no negative press. That's politicking, man. That's
politics.
They got no choice, man. They got to do what they got to do.
That's the biggest thing about these big companies, politics.
Yeah. Huh. That's crazy, headache. Man. I would have never thought about that.
Yeah, it's the biggest headache too.
So let's get into the dimensions real quick before we wrap this thing up, man. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. I got a couple questions about how big a piece is, what the hell a piece is. A lot of people don't know. So let's show them real quick. Let's kind of get it right. So let's look at a piece like this one here in the picture, right? Can you see the picture?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay. So a piece like that, what is that? People like you, the average person going down the road, that's Chinese to them. They're like, what the fuck is that, right? A giant pipe, right? What is that? And what is something like that weigh? What's it called? And what's it for?
All right. That right there is one section of a tower. If you look right above my head, you see that tower standing up with the blades, just a full erect tower. And that is a 3-section tower in that picture.
Okay.
That particular load is a 4-section tower. So that piece right there is called an upper mid. You got a top.
So like this back here, the actual windmill tower, that's a section of it.
Yeah, it's just a section. So you got the top, upper mid, the lower mid, and the base. And just on that particular tower, that is the biggest piece on that tower.
Okay.
It's 118 feet long. On the big end, it's 14.2 around, and it's 152,000 pounds by itself.
Okay, so it's 152,000 pound piece by itself.
Yeah, that's just a piece by itself.
Okay. So let's look at another one. I know you got the trailer, like that's another one. It's the same thing. So you be doing just a lot of the same things, the towers, right?
Yeah, just different. I do different sections.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever done the blades themselves or no, just the towers?
Yeah, just the towers. I don't really like the blades, to be honest with you.
Okay. What's the deal with the blades? They don't pay well. What about like something like this? Let's look at like what is that thing there? That's like a container of some sort.
That is I think that's like a modular building. That guy told you about Moses. That's what he does. Okay.
So what's a trailer like this called for people that don't know? Because it's just wow, it's like a beam type style, or what is that called?
It's called a perimeter. Some people call it a basket. What it is you can, y'all can see me pointing at it. If you look on top, you'll see the 2 little poles, skid poles.
Yeah.
It's really made for real tall loads. That's what it is. And the load sits down inside of it. That trailer right there is probably an 85-ton trailer, right?
Okay.
I also have an 85-ton trailer, but mine is a deck trailer. It's not a basket. So the deck height is around 26 inches to where you can get this one down to about 12 inches.
Right.
That'll save you a whole lot. Go back up.
Go back up. Okay.
Right there where it say Big Mo.
All right.
That's the guy. That's the guy Moses. That's his perimeter. You'll see it in a second.
The blue one. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a wild spot that he had to get in with that dip and stuff. I'm surprised he don't get stuck. What do you do when you get something like that stuck, man? You got to start taking it apart and pulling it piece by piece, or you got to call wreckers out to help pull you?
Nah, you just call a wrecker to help pull you.
They'll pull you out. Okay.
Yeah. And see, the thing about those trailers, what a lot of people don't realize, I kind of got in, I didn't get into it, but I was trying to explain something to somebody. You got to have permits and escorts all the time.
Yeah, because you can't even move down the road because you're like 10 foot wide right off the rip, right?
Well, they're 12 foot wide.
12 foot. Okay, so they're 12 foot wide just rolling down the highway. You ain't even got, you got permits to pull them empty in pretty much all the states' annuals, right? Or no, you get permits coming back.
Yeah, all the states won't give you annuals because you are so heavy.
Okay. So what's a trailer like that weigh empty?
It's on the perimeter or this one?
Either one. The perimeter that was in the last one, and then with this one.
The perimeter is I think he's 118 empty.
Okay.
And this one, I think I'm 96.
96 empty. So you still over 80 gross. So you got to be permitted for the weight. And so you got to get permits coming back just to move to get back to the next load, right?
Yeah.
That's a pain in the ass people don't think about with this type of shit, right? Everybody thinks you're gonna be legal when you empty and then go back. No, with this type of setup, with both of those, you got to do the same thing, right? Because it's heavy. So what do they call that type of trailer that is hooked up to the tower section?
schnabel. That's called a double schnabel.
A double schnabel.
That picture right there, go down one. That one right there. Up one, I'm sorry.
This one?
Yeah. You can't really see it, but that's me right there lifting the tower up.
Okay.
That particular piece is a base. And the way you can tell a base, it's got a flange that goes around it. Which makes it 15 feet around.
That's the bolt down section they put to the concrete or something, right? And when they say flange, it's this section right here at the front of it that's like a giant, like 1 foot flange all the way around. They probably bolt to the ground, I'm assuming, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, with giant fucking foot bolts.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that makes sense. So then the other section goes inside or somehow connects to the next section as the middle or the top.
Yeah, it bolts right on top of it.
Okay.
I think it's like 300 bolts or something. They put.
How long does it take for the? I mean, you pull up with an empty trailer, and I'm assuming that they hook this thing up, or you got to back it up, grab it, all that kind of shit.
Nah, you got to do it all yourself. They just set it out in the field.
So you got to actually hook back up to this fucking thing with the trailer and shit.
Well, what it is on this particular piece right here, they set it out in the field, and like the picture you had before, where I was connected together, empty.
Right.
I dropped the back piece, which is those last 6 axles right here.
Okay.
I drive around and I hook. There's a pintle hook on the front of my truck, and not a pintle hook, but just a pin. And then on the back of that 6 axles, there's like an A-frame that falls down, and that fits directly into the front of my truck. And I push that last 6 axles into the back of the tower.
Okay.
So I push that in and pray to God I got enough room and push it in, and then I unhook and then back the other end to the front.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah.
So if you can, what's something like this? I mean, obviously you leased on guy, not an independent, because independents can't get this. We was talking about that. But what is something like that pay to go 1,000 miles, and how long does it take to complete the project, to pick it up, take it, they get everything set up permit wise and everything for you. But from the initiation of, hey, we're going to go get one of these and take it 1,000 miles. What is that? I mean, you said you don't really drive a lot of miles, so you do a lot of shorter trips or what?
Lately this year, I've been doing more miles. On that run right there, that was about 400 miles. Matter of fact, that's the one I took to the Rivian plant right there. That was a 460 mile run, and it took me like a day and a half. The route we had to figure the route out. That was a little crazy, but some of the spots they sent me, we kind of had to wiggle our way through there. But it wasn't too bad. That right there, the front of that flange was about to scrape the bottom of the ground. That's why I'm out there lifting it up.
Okay.
And that's another thing a lot of people don't realize. The tower itself is now the trailer. So when we're going on the interstate, that flange is 6 inches from the ground because we got to stay at 15.6 high. And I think that's 55 right there through Illinois.
Yeah.
My high pole hit 6 different bridges on 55.
Damn. So then you just gotta stop, back up, and resituate, find a new route.
No. What I did, the Escort backed up because whenever my pilot cars hit a bridge, I stop. I don't give a fuck where I'm at. I'm stopping. I'm not hitting the bridge. I stopped. They backed up and they let me know how far down they hit on the pole. If they hit 2 or 3 inches, I'm good. Worst thing, I got to drop the tower down a little bit and just drop.
On that particular move, you're gonna be like an inch off the ground, pull past the bridge, pick it back up.
Exactly.
Okay.
Worst case scenario.
Right.
But yeah, some of these guys, there've been guys we had at Landstar or some of these companies. They hit a bridge that was 16.8 high. What they do when they get off of the road, off the interstate, like what I'm doing right now, they lift the tower up, right? They make the turn and forget to put it back down. So they're just riding on back roads. Then they get on the interstate, and them bridges are not as tall as they are on the back roads.
Right.
And they're just riding and just forget that is sitting up 16.5 high. And man, that just blow a bridge apart.
Man, that would hurt so bad. You rolling through 55 miles an hour, hit a bridge. That flange is not gonna move. That is gonna hurt the hell out of your back.
That is not gonna budge.
It ain't gonna feel good.
Hell no. Nah.
But okay. So how long does it take to complete a load like that? That's like 400 some miles.
About a day and a half.
Okay, so you can do that run in about a day and a half.
The one I told you we were going 1,700 miles.
Yeah,
we've been doing those in 3.5 days.
Okay, so they coordinate everything, permit wise, escort wise, survey wise, if there is needed surveys. And if it's out in the Midwest, you probably ain't really needing surveys and bonded, right?
We have to do everything except route surveys. They'll take care of the route surveys.
Yeah, and but there ain't too many unless you're going northeast with that size, right?
Well, no, they get a route survey every time because there's been so many accidents. Because of what a lot of people do, they'll just get their own route and go their own way. And they found out that doesn't work all that great. You know, some companies still do it, but if you got everybody on the same route, you know, we're on a lot of companies get on WhatsApp. So everybody's up there and you know, this bridge is low. We got a train track. You got to lift up 4 feet to get over it. There's a parking spot right here on the side of the road. You know what I mean? You can put things together a lot better that way.
Right. So where do you park this big shit at? You ain't getting that in no truck stops, man. I know I see some big guys in the truck stops, but all these are always at the way stations and rest areas inside of the road.
Man, that WhatsApp comes in handy. But it's a lot of Google mapping.
Yeah.
But you know, we run a lot of the same routes. So we kind of remember where we go. I'm trying to bring up this damn, don't want to act right.
So after a while, you kind of already know where to stop, where your next stop's gonna be, and like we got to make it here. We got to do this. We got to make it here.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
See all them little dots?
Yeah.
I can pull a tower in almost all of them dots.
Okay. So yes. you got a spot. You got a spot to park every one of them dots.
Yeah, pretty much. And sometimes, man, I've seen motherfuckers park in front of somebody's house.
Yeah.
If you go knock on their door and, hey, do you mind? I'll leave early in the morning. I got caught. There was a turn I had to do, and it took me a little while to get it. It was just, you know, I'm probably this far away from a stop sign. So by the time we finished, I was talking to a friend of mine. He's like, yeah, man, you can make it to the parking spot, no problem. He must drive a lot faster than I do. Because when I left that turn, I still had like 2 hours. And in 45 minutes, it was pitch black dark.
Yeah.
So we were just riding.
Right.
Until we got to that parking spot.
You got to do what you got to do. It sucks, but.
It does. Because there's nowhere else to park.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Yeah, what are you going to do?
Yeah, you can't leave it in the road. That's what
right. You can't leave it sitting and blocking the whole damn lane. It is what it is. So, so anyway, man, that ties it all together. I mean, the cell, like in the picture in the back, the cells, you ever do those?
Yeah, that's what I've been doing for the past 2 years.
Okay. So what does one of those weigh? What does one of those weigh on a trailer? You got to have a perimeter to do those, or just a regular like 13 axle, or what type of trailer?
Yeah, just a regular 13 axle.
Okay.
I don't know.
So they basically go on just the RGN style trailer on what kind of, you got to stretch it or no? It's just do they have an add-in and a deck or no? It can go on like 30 in the well.
Yeah, 30 in the well is like the minimum.
Okay.
30 in the well, you pushing it because you got cranes loading this thing, and it's gonna swing, you know, sway, all kind of shit, and you probably got maybe 4 inches, depending on what kind of trailer you got in the front and back, a play. You know what I'm saying? They normally take a big piece of plywood with like something soft bolted, nailed to it, and they'll sit in between your trailer and then the cell.
Okay.
It's it'll probably bump it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, they bought 100. Yeah, about 140,000.
140,000 pounds. Okay.
Yeah, you put on a regular deck.
And how are they real wide or no?
They about 13 wide.
Okay.
Biggest problem with those, they 30 feet long. All the weight is probably within 10 feet of the front.
Huh.
That's the biggest problem because it's just a big
So-
drivetrain.
Do they put them on backwards then, or does that put a lot of weight on the drives on the truck, or do you flip them around backwards where a lot of the weight is on the trailer?
I'm gonna tell you why I don't like putting them on backwards. And if somebody go back to my Instagram page, you'll see my black truck with a red trailer. That particular trailer, I had to load it backwards because the neck wasn't long enough to put weight on my steer axle, right? So when I loaded it front towards the front, I would be like 62,000 on my drives and like 11,000 on my steer axle.
Right.
Like
you can only go 60 on the drives, right?
Yeah, and that black truck, man, that was the problem. The black truck was so fucking big, and that red trailer I had was just the neck was too short. So when I turned it around, which I had to do, when you turn, that red trailer was only a 9-foot wide trailer. The one I have now is a 10, but the 9-foot wide trailer, when you turn, it's leaning like this hard because, like I said, a piece, if you could look inside of this shell right here, it's only maybe 6-8 feet around or wide on the inside, and it's just real tall. So you got all this concentrated weight in one area, and now it's in the back, and now when you're turning, it's just doing this on the inside. So we had quite a few guys just flip over. One guy got stuck on the train track, got hit by a train.
Damn.
And this dude been driving longer than damn near I've been living. So he got the experience. It was just one of them days. It was a train track and then a stop sign. So I want to say his escorts either didn't have the traffic stopped all the way and he went, and then he had to stop, and then he got stuck. That was one of them train tracks you kind of had to gun it a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Either that or you had to get out and lift the trailer up.
I'm telling you can't do this shit and not be in them situations where your butthole pucker up because you like, man, I'm finna floor this shit. It's Send It, Send It City. And you hate them days because you're like, if I don't want to be a meme. I don't want to be stuck on no train track getting hit by a train. But sometimes, man, what are you gonna do? You go down 3, 4, 5 blocks. I mean, you can't really do that with what you're doing, but in like an 8-axle, you go down a couple blocks, the train track seems to get further from the ground, taller. You're like, well, fuck, I'm gonna go back to where I was at and just gun it. You know what I
hit we had a couple of guys that ripped the tracks out of the ground.
Damn. I ain't never heard of no shit like that. That's crazy.
Shit, a buddy of mine did it on we got a spot where they load us down in Plainview, Texas.
Yeah.
And you got to cross over some train tracks. It ain't nothing too crazy, but I'm assuming maybe one of his chains, binders or something got caught, or something up under there got caught and ripped the track right off of the train. Ripped the track off of the track.
Damn.
And
so they gotta shut that shit down or derail the train. So he had to make a phone call. That's a whole situation. They gotta bring somebody out like right now to get that done.
Instantly. I know a guy hit train bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hit that shit and the train had to stop before it went over. They had to get it inspected.
Yeah, they gotta have it all engineered, probably x-rayed and everything for that motherfucker cave in.
And that shit was $10,000 a day.
I bet. Bet every bit. That was probably getting off easy, man.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. It was loaded too. It was you can get into some crazy situations.
Yeah, people don't talk about that shit though. They talk about all the fun shit. They talk about all the money, the rate cons and the contracts and stuff. But this is the real shit right here. There ain't nobody talking about that, man. Ripping fucking train tracks out the ground.
The guy Frank I told you about that talked me into keep my truck. He's got a perimeter trailer, like the blue one that you showed.
Yeah.
You got 4 big ass pins on each end of those beams, or 2 pins on each end of the beam. Well, wherever that pin went in, the whole weld, it wasn't even welded. It just split and it dropped the trailer. just right there,
Right on the fucking ground.
right on the ground. That quick.
Damn. So you got to bring out a whole crew to jack that up, re-weld it, fix it on site because it ain't moving from where. I don't care how many records you get. That motherfucker ain't going nowhere if it's loaded.
Hey, look, they had. Now this is on a little bitty 2-lane road on some back roads in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
They had, he told me it was 18 police that he had to pay. I think it was for like 20-some hours. There were 250-ton cranes that came out, and he had to get another perimeter. So what they did, they just lifted the whole load up. The truck left. You know, they could bind it once it's empty. They could bind it up enough to get it out the way. Then they brought the other truck in.
How did they? If he didn't have another perimeter, how you gonna be like? Let me just order a perimeter. Where the fuck they just got perimeters just laying around? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? That's a problem by itself. He had to have another one or know somebody who had one, and then it not being on a project and busy, the chances of it just happened to be sitting around waiting for some shit to happen like this is like people don't realize that's a big fucking problem.
That was a $1 million problem. It cost $1 million to do all of it. And on top of that, like you said, where to get a perimeter from? You can actually rent a perimeter. They are $40,000 a month.
Yeah.
There was a guy up in Pennsylvania.
I don't know where the fuck you get. I mean, I'm sure there's companies like
I forgot the name of it, man. A
That's
buddy of
crazy.
mine told me because I called them. I wanted to see what's the truth. They just bought it. It was a brand new perimeter, and I think it was a Nelson, some shit like that. Brand spanking new. He's like, yeah, man, it's about $10,000-$11,000 a week. I said, what? I said, man, you keep that shit. I don't want no part of that shit.
Right.
Even my trailer, they want
just so everybody can understand what does one of them perimeters cost though? Are they custom built? They're custom built to order. You ain't going down and just buying one sitting on a lot. It ain't like they got stacks of perimeters sitting around. So what does one of those things cost?
Right now, you're looking close to anywhere from $750 to $1 million.
Right.
It depends on how many special little things. You know, they got remotes. Because you got to think about it. It's all the way through their pins, keeping that shit together. Because you take the pins out and it opens up. It goes from 12 wide to I think 22 wide. And you can sit and go down inside of it. So older trailers, you got to pull each pin out. There's a button up there you hit, it'll blow it out. And then some of the holes don't want to line up. Some of them don't want to come apart. Like you get one of them old ones, man, you're looking 35, 45 minutes just to open your trailer.
Right. It's a whole situation.
Yeah, whole situation.
And I see you down. I actually reached out to that dude to fix one of my trailers in Texas, the Hefe dude. And he was like, yeah, we can fix it. No problem. I told him we needed one redone, the top deck. And he was like, we 3 months out, 4 months out. I was like, damn.
Hey, they probably the best, but it's hard, especially right now. It's hard getting in there, man.
Yeah, anybody really. I even called all around here, man, and it's like same thing. Anybody that's any good, I wanted to have it sandblasted and everything and painted, but they were just like, man, I was like, damn, I'm finna have to do this shit myself at my shop at the house because this is get in somewhere as a paint. You got to get on a schedule like 6 months in advance.
It's funny you said that. The dude, that red trailer that's in that picture, I actually sold that to one guy. He called Hefes too, and they told him the same thing. He wanted to paint it. Bro went out and bought paint, sandblast shit, guns, all that shit, and just did the shit himself.
Yeah, it ain't that hard. You can, I mean, I'm somewhat mechanically inclined, but you can get a mobile sandblast kit and everything. I mean, it's a lot of work, and I mean, hell, it's gonna cost you a fortune in the bead blasting material, the silica or whatever the hell they call it, to bead blast it all off, and that shit sucks. I had an old muscle car done. Dude had to come out, and he did it in the driveway, but I'm in South Florida. It's 90 fucking degrees. He had a hood on that had AC with a damn hose that went to a thing, man, because you get so hot, and you got to have a safety mask, or that shit gets in your eyes and stuff. And a full like hazmat look suit, but it can be done, and then you just prime it and paint it with a gun.
She got AC in it.
Yeah, it was wild. But So man, so a trailer like that. But what about like that's a perimeter. That's so far out of the normal person's scope of work that they could even fathom that. You know, most people can't. They think making $1 million is impossible. So a 13 axle. If we get people back off space, you know, because I can obviously understand that we could one day reach that, or if we wanted to go get one, and some people can. But what about a 13 axle? Something that's more, you know, attainable. What's one of those costs for the
Uh,
average person that don't know?
man, you can get you an older one. You're gonna have to do some work to it. You get it for about 100, 120, and about 150.
Yeah. And so on a 13, for people that don't know, you know, how much can you scale on that particular trailer? And if you got a stretch or a well, or you got pieces you could put in it or whatever.
That's when it get tricky. All these trailers are different. That blue trailer you seen hook, that
Yeah.
Schnapp, I was 96,000 pounds. The one I have now, I'm like 76. So obviously I can haul more weight.
Right.
But it all depends on the trailer itself and how much it weighs. Right
Right.
now, regular 13, you're looking anywhere between 150 to like 155-ish. Uh, you can do 160, but you got to be spot on, because you figure if I'm 90, I was 95 empty with my trailer. So your max is across the board, you know, from North Carolina to Cali or North Carolina to Utah or something, 20,000 an axle.
Right.
So you figure 260 minus 95, what's that, like 165,000, I think.
I ain't gonna lie to you. You said 260 minus 95
Yeah,
is yeah.
165, right?
Yeah, 165.
Okay. So look, you figure you go get a load that's 165,000 pounds.
Right.
You have to be perfect to get 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, all the way
Well,
down.
right, but then you got to think about fuel. You got to think about your shit in the truck. You got to think about is it really 160,000? That's what it says on the paper. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of shit that goes into that too.
I take whatever I can do and probably subtract like 10,000 pounds.
Right.
And I'll play in that area. I go get it scaled, and then I'll see where I'm at, you know, individually on each grouping.
Yep.
And
Because if you got to go back to the shipper and have a move shit to go scale again, then you have no idea how fucking annoying that can be. You know what I
man,
mean?
hey,
Like
look,
that could take a whole situation of a day, a couple days, whatever, just to get the shit
back.
this much for, you know what I mean? Like it's people don't even think about that. Moving shit on trailers this much to get the weight distributed right so that you can fucking leave on the road and get the damn thing delivered is a whole situation.
You got to think, if you off and you need to go back, then you got to order more permits.
Right.
Now you got to pray that you can find somewhere you can turn around.
That's a good one right there. People don't think about. They think, oh, I'm gonna get some permits, and I get done when I get done. No, they give you a window when you order them permits. Hey, we gonna be from here to here, and it's usually a couple days, a week, whatever time frame you plan on being on the road. It ain't like I'm gonna just, as long I get it. Once I got the permits, I can do it whenever I want. It don't work that way.
Some states give you 2 days, some states give you 3, some of them give
Right.
you 10. You know what I'm saying? It all
Yeah.
depends.
Nobody talks about that shit. They want to get into it and they have no idea that. And then so I've had that happen. And then you get all your shit, all your permits, you get rolling. The shit don't happen. Something happens, whatever, and you got to rebuy all them shits again. And you just spent, depending on the load, anyway. Who knows how much? I mean, it can be, you know, and it can be anywhere $1,000 to thousands of dollars for the permits, and now you got to redo them.
Let me ask you this.
Sometimes I have ran into that sometimes where you call back and they'll extend it, like they're nice about it, but it's a money grab. They don't give a fuck most of the time.
But you got to catch it before it expires.
Exactly.
That's the trick.
If you call up and be like, hey, you know, I need to extend it 2 days, 3 days, whatever, we didn't make it one day. Sometimes they'll do it. Sometimes they'll say just resubmit it.
Down there in Florida, somebody told me this. You could go load a load, right? Say you load we got 7 axle?
Yeah, 8 is the biggest we got.
8 axle, right? You load an excavator. They
Right.
told me you could leave, go find a scale it, and then get your permits. Is that true?
Yes, that is true here. That's
Okay.
true. That's true in a couple of states, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's kind of iffy because I've heard about people getting jammed up with that, and so I might actually go look that one up because I think it is that way in Florida. Um, but yeah, that might be one I go check up. I'm gonna go double check that before I validate that. I think it is, but I'm gonna go look it up first.
I was curious because what I do, I whatever load they give me, I take my trailer weight plus the
Yeah,
load.
we go do it anyway. We have to do it 99% of the time anyway. Otherwise, you order and you don't even know what you are.
Yeah, but I just pad my weight. I pad my weight and I
Yeah, I
order.
mean that's what we do too. Like I tell the people all the time, they'd always be like, "How you like?" I would pull up and I'd already have my permits right
Yeah,
when I would get loads, and guys would always be like, "How the fuck are you leaving and you ain't even got a scale ticket to get your shit?" And I'm like, "I already got my permits." Like, how the fuck you do that? I'm like, "Cause I ordered them for 120. I'm ready to go." You know what I mean? And they'd be like, "What do you mean you pay more?" I'm like, "Yeah, because I don't have fucking time to waste. I'm on to the next one." And they're
yeah.
like, "But the thing might only weigh you all in at 90 or 100 or whatever." I'm like, or 103, 105. I'm like, yeah, but I ain't gonna sit around here and fucking wait for who knows how long, 3 days, 2 days, whatever, to get it situated.
You only talking maybe $100, couple hundred
Right.
dollars.
Well, I mean, like if you're going through the heavy, like the bottom, like say you're going through the bottom through Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, it could be as much as $500 more. But it's like, fuck it. It's the cost of doing business, in my opinion. Not everybody thinks like that though.
Well, I do I get at least if I'm on something small, it's like 7, 8 axle. I get at least the first 2 or 3 states because 9 times out of 10, it don't take that long to get the permit anyway. I
Right.
get
Most states like Ohio's real slow. Tennessee got better, but for a long time, Tennessee was slow as balls, like
how long,
days.
how long would it take to get something like that in Tennessee?
In Tennessee, it used to like about 6 months ago, a bunch of people quit. They had like 2 people in the office doing permits. Can you imagine how many people permit to go I-40 alone, not including 75 that runs through there? 2 major corridors. It's ridiculous. Like the damn machine don't stop spitting them out all day. You know what I mean? And so you got they had to hire a shit ton of people, and they would just email back and be like, "You're on the list. Stop emailing us." You know what I mean? I said at the border about 6 months ago at Tennessee, fucked up my whole weekend. It was a Thursday. I was going to drop on Friday, had something else lined up, and then going to the house. And I didn't get my damn permit till Tuesday.
Damn.
Yeah. It wasn't even that big. It wasn't even heavy. It was just wide. It was like a excavator that all in, I was maybe 80, 90. So it was like, it was not even a big deal, but some stuff self issues. You can put it in and it'll kick right back instantly on the computer system. So I'm good to go. But usually anything over 100,000, it don't self issue.
I know. Like I said, like I told you, I work for a lot of small companies, and one of them companies, man, they sent me a permit, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, I said, yo, I got a route already. Where this one come from? It was like, look, we don't want you going over the scale. I think it's only one scale that actually scales you in Tennessee.
Yeah, it's Coffee County, right on 75. When you come down the hill, that one right there, there's a little Haji joint that you can stay at past the Pilot that has like 4 parking spots. But if you come down, they don't never close. They're open 24 hours a day, and there's 2 dudes in there that pull in every permit and read it, check it, and they will ticket you and put your ass out of service.
Well, no, I mean actually run you across the scale.
Oh yeah,
like I ain't been through Tennessee in forever, but back then it was only on 81 coming in out of
this one's on 75.
75. Okay,
Yeah, I'm talking about, yeah.
Or 81.
There might be another one.
They said this is the only scale that'll run you actually across the scale. It was like, man, we don't know how much you weigh, so take this permit. Don't show nobody, but take this permit and run this particular route. And it ran me down 81 to like 11E to 25 and back down to 81. Some crazy ass route.
Yeah, well, that's out through like the rice fields and back ass, mountainous field. And then you start getting over towards like even like Memphis and West Memphis, Arkansas and shit. They'll pull you in and ticket the hell out of you too. There in Arkansas, don't play.
I got my second ticket in Arkansas at ATS.
Yeah. Man, I'm originally from Arkansas. Grew up there from the time I was like 11 till I went through college, or not. I didn't finish college, but high school and all that there in college. And that's where I started my trucking company. And man, I thought, we being good old boys, they wouldn't mess with us. They don't give a fuck. That I have more problems from Arkansas, my home state, than I had, and Oklahoma right next to them. Oklahoma is the one I hate the most. They will give you so much petty shit. But anyway, Oklahoma don't play at all. But those two states, man, it's almost like anymore with Oklahoma. I try to go around that motherfucker. No lie, with all my trucks, I tell my dispatchers drive around. Fuck them. You know what I mean? They run a safety score up like it ain't nothing, and they don't care, man. They got no sense of humor.
Nah, man.
They gave us like 1 year 16 window tint violations before I finally had to be like, if you got window tint and you get a ticket, you're fucking fired automatically. Like, I was just tired of it, man. Well, fire extinguishers not mounted violations, just all kind of stupid shit, man. Not having fuses. They just started getting petty with us. I've told a couple of the officers off on the phone, but they're just petty, man. And then you kind of data queue it, and you just nothing you can do to get it off, and it's just petty stuff, It ain't nothing to do with safety. It's all a money grab.
Yeah, it's all about money, man.
Yeah, one of the things that Oklahoma does that almost I don't know of another state that does it, is they will give you a fine if you own the truck in your personal name and you don't have and you own the company, and you probably never encountered this before. Maybe you did. They wanted a lease agreement between you and Landstar or whatever. But if you don't have a lease agreement in your binder, and now I make sure everybody's got it because we do often go through Oklahoma, but they give you a ticket, it's like $390, and it's not one that goes on your safety score, but they make you pay it before you can leave. And it's because you don't have a lease agreement in your binder, your truck book, from you owning the truck in your name and titled in your name to the company. It happened to me personally 8-9 years ago. I cussed the dude. I was like, this is fucking stupid. I was like, I own the truck and I own the company. I don't need no fucking lease agreement. I'm good, right? He's like, no, you got to have one because the truck is in your personal name, not in the company name. And I was like, I own both. I don't need a document. He's like, yeah, you do. It's got to be in the binder. It's our requirement. And there was like 13 owner operators behind me in a line with the same problem. They was all running for the hills trying to go make one up in the truck. And I was like, okay, I'll be right back. I'm going to go to the truck and get mine. He's like, no, you just told me you didn't have it. You can't go print it up. You're getting ticketed. I was like, motherfucker. Petty, man.
I had to show a cop a lease agreement one time. He didn't believe the truck was mine down in Mississippi. He would come up on the side of me, and part of it was my fault because I had my license plate in the windshield. And once he seen it, I thought that would be enough. He was like, "What? Is it really your truck? You got any proof saying it's?" It's like, ah, damn, dude. I get the lease agreement.
You get that a lot because I got a lot of minority drivers, and you get that a lot in the South, man. They fuck with them dudes and search them for weed all the time. I mean, it's just shit they would never do to me. They fuck with them in those little podunk Alabama, Mississippi fucking towns, man, is where I get all my violations with a lot of my minority dudes. It's annoying as fuck, man.
I get a lot of I loaded in I think it's Clarksville or Clarksdale, Mississippi.
Yeah.
I'm sitting, I had a black truck. I'm sitting on my truck, lacing my boots up. And the dude walked past me and started talking to the pilot car. Like he thinks he's the driver. Hey man, how we gonna get you inside the building? This, that, and the third. And my pilot car looking at me like, man, what am I supposed to say? I said, man, don't worry about it, man. It's all right. This shit happens all the time, man.
Right.
Yeah. I've had a black pilot car do the same thing. He walked right past me.
Damn.
When talking to the pilot car.
Yeah.
He's like, man, he said, I don't see. He said, bro, I never seen a black guy doing this before. Never.
I've heard that somebody else said that to me before, but ATS and those guys, they're out there, especially older dudes too. There's a lot of older dudes doing it, but there's all type of races doing heavy haul. But yeah, that's true. But that's just small. It's always in the small town bullshit out there, man. They just like, well, I've never seen one have this nice of a rig. Fuck, come on, man. Get the fuck out of here.
Hey, I know.
I had this dude. I was actually telling this to Joe last night. It's funny. I'm probably gonna cut this part out. He's a good ass dude though, but he worked for me for like 9 years. Big ass ex-con dude. He did like 12 in the pen and for some hardcore like armed robbery, home invasion shit. But he got out, and we hired him. He's got all gold teeth, like you got the dreads. Big dude, tattooed up, muscle bound dude. and he would get fucked with all the time. Even I got a couple of chicks that this one black chick that dispatches for me. She called me like every day because he's from the deep south in bottom of like right where Texas meets Arkansas, Louisiana area right there. So he has a real strong southern. I don't know if you ever met anybody from over there. Real strong southern accent, and they skip a lot of words, and I can understand him because I grew up out and I had a lot of friends like that. And so she would always call me like, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Can you call him? And like, I'd be like, yeah, I call him, and he'd just be like, man, I don't know what problem is, you know. And it was always funny. But he worked for us for like 9 years, and finally he got to the point where he failed like 9 inspections. I'm like, bro, I gotta let you go. You don't give a fuck no more. You know?
Damn, 9 inspections.
He just took the ELD out and was like, fuck it. I was like, bro, just buy a paper log truck, like, you know.
Damn.
Like, you get pulled over and he's like, you ain't got no ELD. He's like, what's that? Come on, man. Come on now.
Nah, he ain't give a fuck.
He didn't give a fuck. But he did for like the first 5-6 years. But I think he had a few things happen and I didn't let him go because he was a grinder, bro. He never missed. He got in a deal where he would just run right there Monday through Friday. And he was a just hustler, man. He'd only take the weekends off, stay at his house. And just cool ass dude. And I just called him one day. He failed like 3 in 1 week. And it was petty shit too, like, you know, brake problems and stuff. And I saw it like he wasn't taking care of his equipment anymore. I don't know what he had, some personal shit. And I was like, man, just, you know, get your shit together and call me once you get it together. Maybe you can come back. But yeah, he was one of my first owner operators. Cool ass dude named Leonard. Big ass dude too. And he ended up actually getting he came to Miami. He made some money, and I guess they got one of the best places out here in Miami that do teeth. So he had the golds pulled out and got like all the titanium, whatever. He had the brightest fucking smile anybody you ever see, man. That shit looked like Rick Ross. And he was like, man, he was smiling ear to ear. I was like, damn, man, you can see them shits coming down the street in the truck. But he was a cool dude. But yeah, it's just, you know, and he would get fucked with all the time in the South, man. And it's just what you deal with, you know.
Yeah, I got used to it, man. That shit don't bother me.
I couldn't fucking deal with it. Even to this day, it'd get on my fucking nerves, man. Because you got to work, you're trying to live a job, and you going, and especially if you're in the South working, running 10 and stuff, you know, that shit would get annoying.
I had a dude damn near give me an interview, man. I was on a 10-axle beam trailer, and I had to pick up a crane. And I talked to the lady in the front. She's like, yeah, just sit down. He'll be on in a second. Dude walked smooth past me, looked out the door and shit. Where's he at?
You like, yo, motherfucker.
I'm just sitting there, just chilling. I'm looking at him. I ain't saying shit. I'm like,
he's walking around like an idiot.
Yeah. He's like, oh, man, nice to meet you, man. How long you been doing this?
How do you get past that at that point, though? Both of you know what just happened, and you just like, you just skip it, right? Like, I ain't gonna say nothing, you don't fuck, you know?
Like, where the load at, man?
Where the load, right?
Step it to the load, bro.
Yeah, he's just walking past, not wanting to say nothing to you. Like, who the fuck is this guy in his mind? He's thinking it, but he's walking past, just ignoring the shit out of it. And you like, yo, you gonna give me my fucking load or not?
It's like he just seen me out his peripheral and just didn't acknowledge me. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy that people still got to deal with that shit this day and age, man. It's wild. And especially even in this industry when there's so many, every type of ethnicity represented in the shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know when I was down in Pensacola, I had 2 different black guys come up to me. One at the plant and one at the port. It was like, man, after they loaded me and I chained down and everything, it's like, man, I never seen you're the first black guy I've seen come down that's on operator.
Yeah.
Yeah. I seen one other black dude. He said,
you know what though?
Like 20 years.
Now that I think about that though, like Benny was saying, I guess you're right, because the majority of the ones that I've seen out on the road was like ATS drivers and shit.
Yeah, so, I know. Far
I didn't think about that. There is a lot of people doing it, but like independent owner operator, you know, there ain't a whole lot. There ain't even nobody on YouTube. I was thinking about. I've been Googling, searching, trying to find fucking people who can just talk about it, and there ain't nobody out here.
I did too. I was looking for myself. I'm just trying to find somebody I could probably link up with. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I know 3 owner operators. Yeah. 3.
Well, hey man, if you know any that's willing to come on the channel, send them my way, man, because this is what I want to talk about, is the real nitty gritty because I'm tired of this fucking narrative. And I don't, like I said, I ain't blaming nobody. It ain't negative nobody. I don't know who really started it, but everybody thinks that, oh, I'm gonna go get into heavy haul. Nah, you ain't. It ain't that fucking simple, you know. And they ain't never drove a truck in their life ever. You know what I mean? You just gonna jump into what you doing, what C1's doing. Nah, it ain't happening.
I spent a lot of time talking people out of buying a 13 axle.
Yeah.
That are telling me, yeah, man, I got this van trailer right now, but I seen this 13 axle. I was like, bro, just leave it alone, man.
Right.
This ain't what you want right now.
Yeah. If you ain't, I almost think it's idiotic because if you ain't willing to go drive a 13 and pull it for somebody else just to learn for a week, 2 weeks, fuck any kind of time frame,
something.
You now you're being reckless, in my opinion. If you because you know, I look at this shit and personally, I'm like, I want to do it. I'm ready to go. I love a challenge. I would jump behind that windmill shit and just fucking roll with it. It wouldn't bother me a bit. But I've been out on the road and I've done a lot of big shit. And knock on wood, I ain't never fucked up. But I'm just calculated. It's calculated risk. I'm not reckless with it. You know what I mean?
The biggest thing, man, is securing the shit, securing it right. Some people put too many chains in the wrong spot. You got the right amount of chains, but then you got too many chains pulling forward. Yep. You'll never hit the gas hard enough to make the load go backwards.
Right.
Then you want more chains pulling back than pulling forward.
100%. That's what I always did with everything I ever did is I wanted everything, most of it pulling to the back.
One thing that I've seen that people are now saying, and I'm not going to say I'm the only one that ever said something, but I never heard nobody talk about it when all this social media shit popped up, is indirect and direct tie-down.
Yeah. A lot of people don't. You know what's funny is a lot of people that got into flatbed, you know, and I meet a lot of them on the road, I have a lot of clients, and they're just like, man, I work for this Ukrainian guy, I did this, I did that, now I'm doing flatbed. They never went to a TMC. They never went to a Maverick. They never went to a Mercer. They never went to a Landstar to get any, even if it's a 1 day, 2 day. And everybody says all those securement training is bullshit on everyone. I haven't been to any of them either, but I was smart enough to Google the shit. And hell, for a long time we had a training program through what's the book that you can get? But we had the online shit. JJ Keller. Through JJ Keller, they actually have a video tutorial series that I would train my drivers with. And well, I'm not going to make nobody do nothing I don't do myself. So I went through the whole damn thing myself. And I learned a few things, you know, and that's per the book, the FMCSA regulation. You know what I mean? And there's access to that information, and people don't even go look that up. They just watch some YouTube fucking video. I actually made a bunch of videos on load securement to just show people and tell people like how you want to do it, because they was hooking shit to the rub rails on flatbeds and just, you know, and having it just like putting the hook where it could fall off if it got loose and shit. And just stupid fucking shit. And I'm just like, you know, somebody's got to do something. So I filmed a half-assed, you know, not fuck up video, and I'm like, at least have the fundamentals. You know what I mean? Shit.
You know, gotta know the basics, man.
You got to do the basics, man, because it was terrible, man. I was seeing shit on the road, and it was terrible. So I at least did that. But then I go to JJ Keller, watch all their training, read the fucking load securement manual, or take your ass to Maverick or TMC or some fucking body that's gonna give you a class, because y'all otherwise are fucked.
Yeah, I had a guy I met. He's got his own company. He got his own authority and everything. And he up there in, just north of Memphis. And I was telling him, I said, look, how many chains you got on that load? It's like 100,000, 110,000. He said, man, I got 5 chains. It was an excavator. I said, you ain't got no chains. He said, no, bro, you don't understand. My chain's good for 15,000 pounds. My bind is good for whatever. I said, I hear you, but you ain't got no chains on there. 2 or 3 weeks later, he got a ticket in Georgia of $5,800.
Damn. Yeah, I never got no tickets on the road, and I know there was times that, you know, you be in a hurry, but I would always just stop and just put more chains. If I don't feel comfortable about it, I ain't gonna move. Because here's the thing, when I first started my career, and I don't know, maybe you two with flatbed or whatever, I don't like fucking with it. If I'm gonna tarp it, I'm gonna tarp it once. That's it. I ain't getting out the truck again, fucking with it 9 times on the way there. That shit aggravate the hell out of you. If I'm gonna chain it down, I'm gonna chain it down. And I put a little marker. Well, I used to. I didn't do it back in the day for the last time I went out, but I take a magic marker and put a mark, and that motherfucker didn't move that much. You know what I mean? Like nothing. And that's what I would do.
That's smart. Yeah.
Just take a magic marker, mark it on the trailer, a little mark, that long, and that way you can tell if anything's moving. But if I do it, the shit ain't moving nowhere. And either one or two things, you didn't do it right. It could be two things, I guess, or you suck at fucking driving because your shit shouldn't be shifting like that. I mean, I know stuff happens. You got to stop sometimes because people get it. People fuck off and try to cut you off and stuff. But nah, you just got to take the extra minute, man, and just throw that extra chain or two or whatever, and you ain't got to worry about it. I don't like worrying about shit. I want to drive and be like, that shit ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, I would throw more chains on. I almost got fired, man. I started a new company when that dentist I was working for, he went out of business. I worked for a dude up in Michigan. And you talking about bootlegging? Like, these motherfuckers are retarded. They do some of the wildest shit I've ever seen in my life. And,
yeah, man. They got these Ukrainian dudes out here and all this stuff out here, and the Russians in Chicago and shit, man. They're driving stolen trucks, from chop houses.
Yeah.
All kind of shit, man.
They do a bunch of wild shit, man. But
cowboy shit.
I was up in Cambridge, Ontario. I sat up there for 32 days waiting on a permit.
Yeah.
I had a 150,000-pound crown press, and it had the arms on the bottom of it. So they had to block it 2 feet. So you got two big ass 12.
They had to block that motherfucker 2 feet tall. Them blocks is moving around.
Yo, each block was 12 by 12 by like 4 foot or something. They had 2 of them in each corner. So that already made me nervous.
Yeah.
The chains they gave me 4 half-inch chains and like 2 5/16 and like 4 3/8. And I'm like, what the fuck I'm gonna do with this shit here?
Right.
You ain't gotta worry about it, man. The chain ain't gonna break. It ain't gonna. I said, bro,
my man had duct tape, chopsticks, and one Nike shoe, and was like, "No, it'll be good."
They wild as hell, bro. He only bought me 6 more chains, so I only had 10
crazy,
chains.
bro. Now you look back at that thinking, "Damn," you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, some wild shit.
Hey, I've seen some shit, man. I'm telling you, you've seen it too, and I've done some shit. I ain't gonna sit here and act like I ain't done it. We all done some shit, right?
Yeah.
But I still every day I see some shit. I'm like, how did we get here? How did you make that fucking decision? That was the best you had, That was the best you could do, man. Come on.
It's a lot of them out here, man. A lot of them. When I pulled out of that plant in Ontario, this particular trailer is similar to what's his name, Old Joe. It's similar to his trailer. You can a bunch of pieces. You can take it apart, put shit back together. It had these canisters that sit on top of the Stinger, and it's like nitrogen or hydraulic, whatever. Well, these canisters have to be put in a certain position. It's got a knob on there. Evidently, it was in the wrong position. When I made the turn, everything stiffened up. And on the driver's side, all 6 axles come off the ground, maybe 10, 12 inches. And that fucking press is sitting like this now. I was so scared, I never even took a picture of it.
Yeah.
But I should have took a picture of it because just the way it looked, I said, man, this is it. This is the end of my little heavy haul career, man.
Right.
Just gear into it, and that's it. But I almost flipped
that. A few loads like that I was so close that I ain't calling no fucking crane out here and shit. I'm finishing this shit out, and they're leaning, and the whole time you just praying like, Lord, please, please don't fall off this mother. And then you looking every 2 seconds, and it feels like it's getting a little bit further. You like, motherfucker, By the time you get there, you feel like it's dragging the grass, on one side. You like, just get this shit off my motherfucking trailer.
Yeah.
Can't breathe this shit, man.
That nacelle right there. Not that. No, I want that one because it was down in Oklahoma. I told you I got to load it to the back. So now the heavy part is in the back, and when I turned, it leans extra hard. Well, I had to make a right turn, and it was between they call them port chops. You got the port chop, and then you got to go between that, and then you turn it.
Right.
I'll come all the way to the left, and as I'm going through that port chop, the back of the trailer goes up on the curve on the right side. So now I'm turning right, the load is leaning left, and I'm on the curve. So now it's leaning more like this. And I was just like that. I was like, man, I'm thinking of new companies I'm gonna try to go to. All kinds
Right, that's how it goes.
I'm like, damn, man, who the fuck gonna hire me now? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
that shit
That's what happens, man. So on the that's the question I do have too. Is that the cell? Is that like what they consider the battery too? Because I know one guy on TikTok, he had a battery bust the chains loose. I don't think he had it secured or something, and slid forward and bent and broke the front of the RGN, and it slid off on the ground. And then they had to bring cranes in and everything on the side of the interstate to get it done. I think he stopped too hard or something, rolling too fast. But he said battery. Is that the same thing, or is there an extra unit?
Yeah, that's a generator. Yeah, that's more of a generator or battery,
Okay.
I guess. Now it's gotten a little bigger, right? So now you got that piece. You just haul the shell. The shell itself is like 70,000, and then
Right.
the drivetrain that goes inside of it is like another 104. So they haul it separate now.
Okay.
But yeah, that's pretty much got everything in it. So I've seen a guy. Normally we get loaded so fast. They set it down. You put 4 chains on it and you pull forward, and then you chain down. One dude put 2 chains on and tried to drive around in the like in around the whole area.
Right.
Yeah.
For the load to where the load up or chain up area is.
Man, look, it was a fucked up area to begin with. It was in North Dakota, up in Minot.
Yeah.
And you got potholes everywhere, all kind of shit.
Yeah.
So he hit one of them potholes, and that whole, like you said, the whole shit slid forward and turned like that. He had 2 chains on. It's like, man, these people be playing their life. A lot of them.
Yeah. All it was 15 more minutes, throw 2 more chains on. All that bullshit from 15 minutes of laziness. It's just laziness. I don't feel sorry for him. Honestly, I don't. I would get over there and just be like, damn. Well, that sucks. You're fucked.
You telling them people, man, you can't park here.
No, you can't tell them shit.
You can't park here.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's a couple pictures they show us before. I can't remember what company that was. Might have been ATS.
But it's like this 18 and a half wide we doing right now. Dude got low. It was thrown on our lap last minute. We didn't even have time because usually we would survey it, do all our shit up front, have it ready to go so you can just pick up and ride out and have the escorts there. But we didn't have time to do that. So we was facilitating everything on Friday when we got the damn thing Thursday afternoon, right? Yeah. So we get over there and they're like, you got to get the fuck out of here. We can't let you stay on the yard. He got loaded, right? And I'm like, he called me and he's like, yo, they want me to leave. The other dude went to the Loves down the street, like 8 miles. I was like, I don't give a fuck what the other dude did. And I don't give a fuck what they're talking about. Just unhook and drive to the Loves, leave it there. And he was like, no, they said I can't. I was like, again, I don't give a fuck what they said. Unhook and drive to the Loves. Like the shit ain't getting moved in. And he was like, well, they said I got to get out of here and it's already on my trailer and they done moved the crane and shit. And I'm like, okay, cool. Again, like I said, unhook. You on pavement, right? He's like, yeah. I was like, okay, cool. Unhook and drive to the fucking Loves. Like, you're not moving. Otherwise, you hanging out, get an Uber. And I can hear the dude in the background like, you can't stay here. Get the fuck out of here. I was like, put him on the phone. I was like, I'll tell him. You want me to tell him to get fucked? Either way, he's going to get told because the shit ain't moving. I was like, the other guy I was like, you can't move 19 damn near foot wide with no escorts, no permits. I don't care. And it was coming out of Houston on a Friday. I was like, you a special kind of somebody. You trying to Houston this shit now almost 19 wide. No, I was like, I don't even know why you'd want to do that without escorts. You know what I mean? Like in Houston on a Friday. Come on, man.
Hell no.
In the afternoon, like, yeah. Like, let's just hurry up and wait, bud. That's what I think you should do. He was like, yeah, that's what I was thinking, but I just wanted to call to clarify. I'll tell him to get fucked. I was like, yeah, tell him to call me, because the other guy, he's probably already screwed. But I guess that's the same guy that got impounded up in Kentucky or whatever.
Probably.
Yeah, no, he did. They called us to recover. I don't know if I told you that, but they called us to recover it. And the dude was the guy I said, go on there and call the phone or the website.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always some shit, man. But yeah, man, let's close this thing. We could talk forever. Obviously, we got some shit in common and stuff. But let's go ahead and close this out, man. One last thing that you would leave. What would you tell somebody want to get in the industry right now, man? Like a little quick snippet of advice. If they was like, hey, C1, what I'm want to get in the trucking industry, what would you tell them?
Do your due diligence. do a lot of research, learn on their dime, like we talked about before. Yeah, man. I mean, that's pretty much the easiest thing, man. Just go to their college. Don't try to fund your own college. Go to theirs and get paid, and just soak up as much knowledge as you can, and then come out here and apply it to your own company.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's it, man. It don't need even much more than that. It's just go learn on somebody else's dime and not on your own. I love that, man. Simple, to the point. Tell them where they can find you, man. Where can they find you at?
Man, I'm on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Real simple. C1 Specialized. That's
C1
it.
Specialized. All right.
Yeah.
Well, go follow the man. If you obviously didn't get the gems in this, you ain't gonna get him nowhere, man. I'm gonna tell you right now, this guy, he knows his shit. He put in his time and he earned those stripes. And just like everybody else I'm bringing on, they all say the same shit. It takes time. I didn't get in this shit yesterday, you know? So he did all the right things, all the wrong things, everything it takes to do the damn thing. And, you know, that's what I did too. And the rest of us that are still here and making it happen. But we appreciate you guys tuning in. Go follow the man if you're not already following him. We appreciate y'all watching. We'll catch you on the next one, man. So I'm just going to drop this.